So we're here today to talk with Dan Smith, treasurer of the new Redwood Empire Farmers Markets, to get his view as to what is going on in the community right now regarding the current Veterans Memorial Building and the farm market that takes place there on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and what's going to change, what's going to stay the same, and just get his opinion and evaluation of the current situation. Dan, tell me about your background, who you are, where you're from, and what brought you to the point of becoming involved with the Redwood Empire Farmers Market.
So I grew up in Petaluma, small little ranch, 4 or 5 acres, with sheep and goats and a pear orchard and big gardens, and I was gardening basically from the age of about 10. My family was very poor, so we always had big gardens, and at that time all the neighborhood had big gardens. And I got very excited about and loved growing things. None of my brothers and sisters did, by the way, but I loved it. I didn't like the goats so much after I got kicked a few times, but and I used to milk the goats before going to school in the morning and at night. And so I've always had big gardens wherever I've lived. Lived in Sebastopol since 1970. We bought our farm here in goes back a long ways now. Maybe 1980, 32 years ago or so. Mm-hmm. And so over the last 10 years, I've gotten much more interested in farming and on a small scale.
And what brought you to become involved with the Redwood Empire's Farmers Market?
Well, first of all, I've had personal experience with the local farmers markets. I've wanted to be in the farm markets with our farm here. We were actually in the Santa Rosa Farm Market for a couple of years. And it's been my feeling that the farm markets have, to some extent, sort of lost their direction or their mission, which should be to serve small farmers in the area. Mm-hmm. And so I saw this as an opportunity, perhaps, to change that dynamic.
Okay. As you know, there's some controversy regarding this change in board, and one of the main charges that's coming from the certified Santa Rosa Farmers Market, which is the group that's running the market right now at the Vets Building, is that your group has no experience running a farmers market. So what do you say to that? What experience do you guys bring to the table?
Well, we have a steering committee of 18 people. Almost all of those people are current or former vendors in the market. And the majority of them have actually been board members of the Santa Rosa Farm Market, some of them for very long periods of time. So we feel like we have not only a lot of experience in managing that particular farm market at the Vets Building, but also myself and Rob Carey bring a lot of experience in managing nonprofits to this conversation, and I think that that's a really critical element of seeing a vibrant farm market there in the future, is that it not only has farmers as its board members, but it has community members with experience in managing nonprofits.
Okay, a lot of community members have expressed fear that the lively community-oriented atmosphere will disappear with the change in management. What is your organization's vision for the market, and what will change and what's going to stay the same?
So we feel it's critical that the market's a fun place to be, both for vendors and customers. That means, music, that means magic, that means face painting for kids, that means, coffee and pastries and nice prepared foods and a festive atmosphere. In fact, when I went by the market the other day, just driving by on the street, I noticed that there was nothing out on the street that indicated that there was a festival going on. There were no, colorful flags. There were no big signs saying farm market here today. So those are some things that we would want to add to the market as soon as we open, is a more festive and fun looking environment, a festive entry point to the marketplace. One of my concerns right now is people are being accosted, customers are being accosted and asked to sign petitions and fight for this and market management, and I just think that that's not a good customer experience. I'm personally very oriented towards a good customer experience and making it the best it can be. Now, part of that means that every booth needs to be attractive. Every booth needs to be well laid out. Every booth needs to have people who are clean and neat, and have all the proper licenses shown, so that customers feel like they're really in a fun, professional environment.
Mm-hmm.
I say I don't think that being professional excludes in any way being fun and beautiful and being a great environment to be in. I actually think they go together.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you are doing a really professional job, you're gonna have beautiful displays of things. You're gonna have a fun place for people to be. I think what's really important from my perspective about whether or not we are going to run this organization and the markets as if they are part of the public good, I think the answer to that is what I've observed over the last, especially 4 or 5 years, is that the Santa Rosa markets are not being run as if they were truly a nonprofit, and they are not being run to support the larger farming community, not just the ones that are in the market today. So if you think about it a little bit like this, if you have a set group of vendors who are in the market and you have the market manager, if you're running the market solely for the benefit of those people, that's not really truly running a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. That's running, if you will, almost a private business. What you're supporting is yourself, and what you're promoting is yourself. And that's what we see happening. And I say that in the area mostly of whether or not the market's orientation is to include more farmers or to exclude farmers and try to keep competition down, try to support pricing for the people that are in the market. And so our personal experience and what I've heard from lots of other people who have not been allowed in the markets is that the orientation of the existing management is to keep other people out who are local farmers, ranchers, and ag producers. And I would say that our orientation is actually quite the opposite. Our orientation is to have an inclusive market, to try to promote and support small farm agriculture in the county in as broad a way as possible. Now, that being said, the argument is always made, well, there's not enough customers to have all the farmers there. And what I say to that is, well, that's actually the market management's problem. The market management should get more customers if there are more farmers and bring more people to the market. And I say that, when I say that, I mean that I believe that these markets are just scratching the surface. The potential for customers for local produce is much bigger than these markets are currently reaching.